Welcome, and thank you for joining this online community conversation for the 130th and 145th Station Area Planning. I'm Patrice Carroll from the Office of Planning and Community Development. We're all struggling to adjust in these strange pandemic times. We're sad we can't meet in person, but we're glad that you are willing to participate online. Here's what this conversation includes. First, a project update, then 2 presentations, one about affordable housing and a second about livability. Last is a survey to collect your ideas and feedback. If you have questions that we didn't cover, don't hesitate to email us. The project kicked off in early 2019. Later that year, we discussed options for the future. Now we're continuing our work online with a goal to have a draft plan this fall and a final plan by the end of the year. In 2021, work will continue to begin implementing your vision for the station area. That phase includes things like zoning and environmental studies, legislation, and capital project planning. Here's a quick summary of community involvement over the past year. There were interviews and online surveys. We hosted an open house and a community workshop. Perhaps we connected at a community meeting, the farmers market, Lake City Days, or other community events. And now, because of the pandemic, we're connecting online.
Hello, my name is Jung, Senior Community Development Specialist with the City of Seattle Office of Housing. I'm here today to talk to you about affordable housing. Housing is considered affordable when a household spends no more than 30% of its income on housing costs. For rental units, housing costs are rent and utilities, and for homeownership units, it includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. It may also include HOA or homeowner association fees. For a 3-person household with an annual salary of $50,000, your monthly housing costs should be approximately $1,500. Cost burden is the most common metric used to assess housing affordability. Households or individuals spending more than 30% of their income towards housing costs are considered cost burdened. Those spending more than 50% are considered severely cost burdened. The need for affordable housing continues to increase in Seattle, and right now, a safe, stable, and affordable home is more important than ever. Cost-burdened households must often make choices between paying rent and other necessities such as food, childcare, medical care, and education. People of color, seniors, and families with children disproportionately face housing affordability challenges. In Seattle today, 1 in 5 households is severely cost-burdened and pays over 50% of their income on housing costs. More than a quarter of Black households are severely cost-burdened. More than 85% of the lowest income households pay more than 30% of their income on housing. This means that the lower your income, the higher likelihood that you are living in housing that is not affordable. Affordable housing investments are a critical way for the city to address these and other long-standing racial disparities. Affordable housing targets low-income households, or families and individuals that earn less than 80% area median income, or AMI. Area median income is determined each year by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. AMI is the middle income for households within a certain geographic area. In this area, half of households make more than the AMI and half make less. AMI also varies depending on household size. In 2019, HUD's AMI for a 4-person household for the Seattle-King County area was $108,625. Half of Seattle households make more, and half of Seattle households make less. Low-income housing in Seattle serves individuals that make less than $61,800 a year, or 4-person households that make less than $88,250 a year. This chart shows the AMI and corresponding monthly rent limit for each AMI level by household size. For a household of 2 people making 60% AMI, a rent of $1,245 is considered affordable. This chart shows some examples of incomes and what AMI levels they fall within. An AMI of a household depends on the number of people, including children, and the amount of income earned annually. For example, a two-person household where one person works as a cashier earning $12 an hour means an annual income of approximately $25,000, which translates to 30% AMI or extremely low income. A retired couple earning $42,200 a year translates to 60% AMI or very low income. A four-person household with one person working as a registered nurse puts that household into an 80% AMI bracket, or low income. A four-person household with one person working as a receptionist and another person working part-time as a childcare worker qualifies that household as 60% AMI, or very low income. Affordable housing targeting very or extremely low income households needs more government subsidy and services to make sure the building and the residents are supported and viable in the long term. Across Seattle, there are a range of government and nonprofit organizations that provide funding and support for low, very low, and extremely low income affordable housing. The Office of Housing, or OH, develops and preserves affordable housing through direct investments in rental and homeownership opportunities, incentive programs, and low-income homeowner stabilization. OH's rental housing program funds production and preservation of rental housing that serves low-income residents for a minimum of 50 years. In 2019, OH awarded $107 million for rental housing and created over 1,700 affordable rental homes throughout the city. As mentioned last month, transit-oriented development, or TOD, is a priority for the City of Seattle and for OH. TOD is a compact and walkable community built around high-capacity transit. OH prioritizes investments in locations that provide access to frequent transit, as transportation costs are second only to housing costs for most low-income households. OH also works in partnership with Sound Transit to develop affordable housing near Link light rail stations. Currently, OH, Sound Transit, Bellwether Housing, and Mercy Housing Northwest are working together in partnership to develop Cedar Crossing at the new Roosevelt Link light rail station. Cedar Crossing will provide over 250 affordable homes to low-income households making 60% AMI or less, and features ground floor retail and community amenities. OH's homeownership programs creates opportunities for first-time homebuyers through investments in permanently affordable homes, as well as down payment assistance loans. OH also serves low-income homeowners through homeowner stabilization programs, which help homeowners make health and safety improvements and energy efficiency upgrades. In 2019, OH completed 29 homeownership projects and assisted over 65 low-income homeowners. In the 130th and 145th station area, a few themes we've heard from early engagement show support for mixed-use development, which are buildings with ground floor retailer shops and residential units on the upper floors. Early feedback also highlighted concerns about displacement and changes to established residential areas through private speculative investment. Thank you again for taking time to learn about affordable housing. Don't forget to take the survey. We'll use your feedback to shape the draft plan and more detailed studies next year.
Thank you, Ben, for explaining what affordable housing is and the programs we use to create more affordable housing. It's one of the key ingredients of livability. Now let's talk about some of the other things that make a neighborhood or a station area livable. Livable neighborhoods make it easier for residents to reach the things they need most: schools, doctors, groceries, daycare. But it's also other things that make life fun and interesting: a cultural space, library, a park, a trail, or a cafe. Livable neighborhoods offer good access to more distant destinations via bike, transit, or automobile to connect to jobs or services throughout the city. But livability is very personal. Some may value being near parks, while others want to be close to their children's school. Over the past year, through meetings and surveys, we've learned more about what you think is important. Our project kickoff survey back in spring of 2019, we asked, what are some of your favorite places in the neighborhood? This word cloud created from your responses illustrates how much parks and green spaces are loved and valued. The amount of parkland in the station area is substantial. Over a third of all land is parks. But it's not just the amount of parkland, but the variety of parks that you mention. Serene natural areas to get away, or playgrounds, playfields, and off-leash areas where people and dogs can come together. Your favorites included places to swim, golf, garden, walk, bike, play tennis, baseball, basketball, and more. You told us about other favorite places, including nearby community centers and libraries in Northgate, Bitter Lake, or Lake City, or one of the many full-service groceries or smaller ethnic food stores in the neighborhood. What's especially unique to this area is the abundance of small institutions, public and private schools, diverse religious organizations, some Christian, Buddhist, or Muslim, many hosting multiple congregations, and various organizations and programs and service providers, and other gathering places like the Holler Lake Community Club that has been building community in North Seattle for almost 100 years. But there's always room for improvement, so we asked, what would you like to see more of? More commercial uses and more parks topped the list. We asked, do you have a big idea for the future station area? Most common themes included mobility and affordable housing. Parks and open space did come up again, but with more emphasis on preservation, connections, and new uses for the golf course. Investments in livability are made by the public and private sectors. Today you learned about how the city invests in affordable housing, and station areas are a priority. The city funds capital projects like ped and bike improvements or the new Lake City Community Center, or rain gardens to manage runoff to the Thornton Creek. Programs like the P-Patch program, Green Seattle Partnership, and the Neighborhood Matching Fund are partnerships with the community. But new development also plays a role. The private sector builds most of the housing in Seattle. But the rules have changed since the 1950s when most of this area developed. Now developers have to contribute to affordable housing. They have to provide sidewalks and street trees and manage stormwater on site. That's good for the Thornton Creek. Some rules require new development to build retail and design it for pedestrians and not cars. The draft plan will include many ideas for potential investment in the station area. Thank you again for taking time to learn about affordable housing and livability. Don't forget to take the survey. We'll use your feedback to shape the draft plan and more detailed studies next year. Look for the summary of all 4 online community conversations and a draft plan this fall, and a final plan by the end of the year.